you made such a difference in Fennville so far in your first 60 days or so.
Right.
Elected mayor of the city, that's an amazing accomplishment.
I appreciate that, Dr. Flores.
Part of my interest in interviewing you for La Voz is because we need to identify and to highlight and accentuate the accomplishments of our people, our raza, in Michigan and in the United States. And your accomplishment is one of those si se puede accomplishments that we need to document. It's like a Cesar Chavez in the political world. And as we're in an election year, 2024, your model that you have demonstrated here by getting grassroots support, by getting yourself elected to City Hall with a write-in candidacy, and then being elected mayor, a few hours later after your first meeting, that's a tremendous accomplishment. And I'd like to see if you'll tell us a little bit how you did that, what secrets you employed, and how much prayer went into that, because I know you have a religious background too, and that's really important.
Yeah, a lot of prayer went into it just to, first of all, to see if that's where I needed to be. And also talked about earlier, served 4,000 people last year, food, clothing, and other things that they need. But no, I just have always been a person in the community. I believe that in the communities where it starts, and small grassroots of the community is where real government takes place.
And do you believe that maybe that religious background that you have, the support of working with the poor, your focus on community engagement, was really the key to success? I mean, did all these people who come out and vote for you because they were involved in your church, or are they people who were influenced by your story and knew of your history?
People that knew of my history, and they were influenced by me being a community guy and being open and helping my fellow man.
The important accomplishments that you've accomplished here in Fennville, just by first of all, the act of being elected to city commission and then to be elected mayor. Because there are some communities in Michigan where that just doesn't happen. Now, we had Tony Benavides over in Lansing who was elected mayor, and he served, I believe, 1 or 2 terms. An amazing fellow too, and great accomplishment. But other than that, I'm not aware of another mayor in the state of Michigan being elected that has Hispanic, Latino, Mexicano, Mexican American roots, and that's, you fit all of those, right? I don't know if you call yourself Latinx. I always tell people all my exes live in Texas.
But I represent La Raza, and I know I represent a group of people that have been disenfranchised over the years. Myself being born in the United States, I know how it is to be a person of color and go through the ranks of disappointments. My thing is trying to get more Raza involved in voter registration and to vote and make a real difference in all communities.
I've often said that the key to success of a candidate of our Raza background is that we have to, first of all, generate a critical mass. We have to become a critical mass. And the critical mass in Fennville is what percentage?
47%.
47% of the population of Fennville, Michigan, is Hispanic, Latino, or Mexican, right?
Yes.
And so we become that critical mass when we hit almost half of the population, right?
Yes.
That's like a Holland, Michigan, or a Grand Rapids that has an increasing number of Hispanic Latinos in the inner city, and now they can't avoid educating us or making sure that we participate in the voter process, because we contribute to these economies, to the education system, and to the citizenry. So we have opinions, and we're that critical mass. So that's really important. Now, your community service also, you've been able to reach that critical mass, and that's important. Tell me a little bit about the pastorship that you have and that little history, because I think that's really important here too.
Well, because of my faith and who I am, I have felt a calling to start a church 11 years ago, and my heart and my compassion was for the alcoholic and the drug addicts and the non-wanted people that can't go to a regular church where they don't feel welcome. In our church, we have the tattooed person, we have the person with the yellow hair. Jesus loves us all. And so that part of my faith resonated with people. And I'm just so blessed because I'm able to speak Spanish and English, and I'm able to communicate effectively with people out there in their own language that they speak. Because, you know, I was born in the United States, but my predominant language is English. But yo puedo hablar los dos idiomas y yo quiero decirle a la gente que sí podemos, como dijiste anteriormente, we can do it if we just get together and just get a plan, create a plan, and we can do it.
Y eso es lo importante también de nuestra raza, que podemos hablar en inglés o español o en francés y como talebú, right? Lo que necesitamos hacer para que se pueda entender. So we're real proud of that. We're very proud of our bilingual background, of our bicultural background, and the fact that we've come from indigenous roots of people who are native to this country and to this hemisphere. And we're proud of that origin. We was talking to you earlier about our migrant experience,
Yes.
and just how that taught you values and a work ethic and whatnot.
We migrated here in Fennville in the late 50s, and I am of a migrant family, and we know what it is to work out in the fields, and we know the temperatures, and that taught us for today's situational things that we go through, because it was tight in those days, but it prepared us for the future, and sometimes we don't realize that. Those hard work ethics that our parents taught us exist in us today. It's in our DNA, and we are doers. We're not sit-down people.
That's right. That's right. We're not lazy. We're not dysfunctional. We're contributors. We're Americans. We're part of the social and political fabric of this nation.
Yes.
And we're here to make a difference. And I appreciate that about you and what I've learned in speaking with you today. How long is the mayorship?
It's a 2-year term. You can get reappointed again. So I have a window of opportunity for 2 years to try and make a big difference in the community that I have. People got to realize we're not guests anymore. We are here. We live here. We have roots here in the United States, and we belong here, as all people do.
And I like that too. That you're able to attract white, black, Hispanic, Latino folks all in one vein, especially being able to speak 2 languages and being bicultural. I was watching you interact with some of the folks in the restaurant next door, El Jaripeo, and there's quite a few other Hispanic businesses in town. But we have to have all of the skills to be able to talk with all types of people. And tell me, does that come from the Texas orientation that you have, or does that come from the Michigan orientation that you seem to have that ability to talk to all kinds of people?
Well, it comes from both orientations. You know, Michigan taught me being in the camps. That's how I learned Spanish. And then our Tex-Mex language, living in Houston for a number of years. But communication is the key. If we don't communicate effectively, then we're not going to be effective. The Constitution says we, the people, not us, they, and them. So we can get it together. We can make inroads greater than what has been done. And we are thankful for the people who paved the way so far. But now it's up to us to take it further.
I see also in talking about what your perspective is as a mayor.
Yes, my compassion, comes from Jesus Christ because he loves all people. And that stems from my faith in Christ. And I love all people. And I believe that we should help all people that are in need of our help.
And I think that speaks volumes because we all have this relationship with a supreme being,
yes.
Jesus Christ, or the belief in a spirit that is larger than life, and respecting all different religious perspectives. And so, does God play a part in politics?
Well, God was non-political, but what happens is he places us in places where we need to be effective. Joseph in the Bible worked for the government, and so if he was in the government, I think we can also be in the government. But it's that faith that we have in our upbringings, whether we come from Catholicism, because primarily the Mexican American who came from those roots are from the Catholicism background, and I respect it. But here's the key to that: is our faith in Jesus Christ.
Absolutely. Now tell me, beyond that, let's talk future political aspirations, because obviously, the mayor is a big step. Are you interested in furthering or political pursuit of offices above the office of mayor?
Well, I have been thinking about running for state representative in the future. See how this mayorship turns out, but I see a larger picture because when you go to a different level, you can help more people and be a voice for many more people. I'm limited in the sense here because it's the city of Fennville, but as a state representative, then you are in charge of multiple areas, and so I'm really thinking about that.
Well, it's a good thought. I happen to have run for the 83rd House District in the Grand Rapids area. It was an interesting run. I came within 5% of the vote turnout. Spent about $7 grand. My opponent spent 15, but he had the political bosses kind of support him, even though it was a seat that was developed for diversity. So it's an uphill battle. We fight these issues of racism and discrimination sometimes that we have to overcome. And luckily, the Lord puts us where we need to be at the right time to help people. And I think that, certainly being mayor, God put you in the right place at the right time, and Fennville seems to be a good perspective. What about perspectives on state or national issues or candidates, if you want to talk about that? I'm not asking you to talk about candidates or endorse anyone, but what's your take? Are you up on many of the political issues that impact the nation? Do you have any opinions you'd like to share with our audience?
Well, I'm following all the races, because it's going to impact us in this coming election, and we really have to look at all the issues that are trying to be dealt with by candidates. That's why I love the small grassroots political area, because this is where the real work gets done. But we really need to look at these candidates who are trying to run again, or are they going to just simulate the same stuff that they've been doing, or are they really going to make a difference in our lives? Because there's a small inflation crisis going on right now. I went to buy some eggs the other day. It's $2.66 for the cheapest dozen of eggs. So that means, take 6 months ago, it was $1.67. So everything is going up. So I just encourage us all to look at what's on the table that's going to affect our families and our lives.
Okay. All right. Anything else you'd like to share with us and the listeners for 97.3 FM, the Heat, or the readership for La Voz, the Community Voice La Voz magazine?
Remember, we have a voice, and if we come together as one people, it's who we are. We can be powerful in the state of Michigan and across the United States of America. We are numerous as the stars, as I said earlier, and we can really make an impact. And La Voz is doing it on their end, and now we got to keep up our end by continuing to pass the torch to our next generation, because they are coming up, and we have to prepare the way as others have for us.
All right. Thank you. It's a pleasure meeting you. And
thank you, Dr. Flores. I really appreciate you.
All right. Thank you.
Sense of deeper respect for you. Right. Just hearing your story, just that little bit.
Well, hearing your story too.
It's just amazing, So I really want to connect with you more. Right. Just to pick your brain and your educational background. I always approach everything as a student.
Yeah, absolutely. Me too. Want to learn.
Always want to learn.